Hi, I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. A few years ago, I got home late at night, parked my car, and started to walk up the hill to my building. I saw a largish shape moving against the lighted backdrop of the building and thought, wow, that's a big dog. That's not a dog. It was a black bear, and I decided to find another door to go in through. Let's get one thing clear at the start. Bears may not be scary, but they're not cuddly either. Bears are not toys. Do not pet them, do not hug them, do not ride them, and do not attempt to pose your kids with them for pictures. I've had 2 encounters with bears while living in Sudbury, both in the middle of the city and both quite close to my apartment building. The first was the one I just described. It was October-ish, and the bear was probably scavenging garbage, fattening up for winter. It was casually crossing the parking lot, heading for the wetlands by the creek that bordered the property. It had absolutely no interest in me, and it was a good 50 meters away. There was a hill and a bunch of cars in the way as well, so it really didn't have a direct route to get at me. I carefully did nothing to draw its attention and picked a route heading in the opposite direction. The second encounter was the following summer. I was crossing the main road that passed over that creek I mentioned earlier. I turned around and noticed a bear casually crossing the road behind me. The person walking with me, who is currently behind the camera holding a dog, grew up in a small town in northern Ontario and was far more knowledgeable than I about bear encounters, so I followed her lead. We kept walking away from it, not running, and not drawing its attention. Meanwhile, all the cars driving past us honked their horns to try and scare it away from us. I'm not sure it even paid attention. It just kept casually strolling towards its destination. The key thing I did in both these encounters was to give the bear space. Don't approach it, don't cut off its escape route, don't startle it. Give it a wide berth and show it some respect. Bears don't actually want to hurt you. They're not hunters, they're foragers. And trying to chase you down and eat you is far more trouble than it's worth. When a bear does look for live prey, it will stand in the middle of a river waiting for migrating salmon to leap into its mouth. To get mauled by a bear, you need to either startle it or seriously annoy it. This is why hikers wear bells in the woods. A lot of maulings happen when a hiker and a bear round a bend in the trail at the same time and find themselves suddenly face to face. If the bear hears a bell coming, it can take off before the encounter happens. Another primary cause of maulings is dogs. People will walk in the woods with the dog off leash, and the dog goes running off because that's what dogs do. Fido might smell the bear and go barking after it, only to run smack into it, realize he's gotten in over his heads, and take off again back to his people with an angry bear hot on his heels. Usually when a bear mauls a human, it's because the human has done something stupid. Not only have they gotten themselves injured or killed, they've also condemned the bear, because once a bear attacks somebody, its life is forfeit. Seriously, don't futz with bears. If you are going out into the great outdoors, take precautions. Wear a bell or other noise-making device. Keep your dog on a leash. If you're camping, keep your food somewhere a bear can't get it, either up a tree, which doesn't work for black bears, or in your campsite's designated bear-proof storage locker. You're doing both yourself and the bear a favor. If you do happen to encounter a bear and draw its attention, don't bother running because it will be faster than you. If you have a backpack, put it on the ground and step away from it. If the bear approaches, drop to the ground, cover your face with your arms, and wait for it to lose interest. So why have I called this video Bears Aren't Scary if I've just spent 3.5 minutes talking about how dangerous bears are? Because fear and caution are not the same thing. Taking precautions around a known hazard is sensible and rational. Being scared of something is not. When people are afraid, they tend to lash out and act irrationally, sometimes through the medium of mindless killing. Bears do not need to be exterminated. They need to be conserved and protected. The outdoors is big enough that there's room for bears and people, and since we're the thinking species, the burden is on us to ensure that we can coexist peacefully with them. That's bears. They're not scary monsters, but they're also not cuddly pets. Treat them with respect, give them a wide berth, And if you live in an area where they're known to wander into backyards, make sure you know how to protect both yourself and them. And for the love of Bjorn, keep your dog on a leash. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.